Okay, we are doing a little more Konflikt 47 today. We are doing the new spine mech to go hand in hand with the existing one. This is the German Flammspinne Light Panzermech. Again, my German is terrible. And just a nice little picture of it is basically the same one we've already seen with a new weapon stuck on it. It's got a flamethrower on it instead of, was it got rid of the autocannon? Yeah, I'm not sure. Nothing on the box. Usual blurb on the bottom about made in Great Britain. Don't eat it. Don't take it orally or rectally. Was at the inside page. And on the back we have the instructions. It's a nice and pretty little thing. It's got what looks like 8 parts to it. Not assembled, not painted. A little blurb. You can go ahead and pause it here and read it about how great and maneuverable the old Spider was, and now we decided to make something that shoots fire. Fire! 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 Fire's cool, sorry. And then the Konflikt 47 blurb. And I took the cellophane off this only a moment ago. I've not opened it yet, simply because it was, reflecting the ceiling fan and the light above. And I guess the blister fell out of the box. There's the blister. And out of focus. Usual Warlord advertisement on the back. Resin, air bubbles, wash, don't eat. This is not a toy, not for 15 and up, or is for 15 and up. And fuck you, this is a toy. And, well, 15-year-olds could probably afford this one. Sorry, guys. Not like the last one we did. I did not bring something to chew through this. Oh, wait. Alright, this one might not need scissors. Alright. We have base, was that 60mm, I think it is. Shipping cloth, packing foam. We have the hull, which looks a lot like the other hull. So I think this is the same one. Hate to say it. I don't think they changed anything. Sort of looks like, well, that looks like Iron Man like that. I'm not quite sure what that is. The Punisher meets Iron Man. Not sure, sorry. And I lost the turret. This is what's new to this one, is this turret. Detail on it. It's got a viewport. That's where the gun goes. We'll get to that in a moment. Need some cleanup. I've got a bubble here and bubble inside there. So there's some gating on here. It needs to get cut off or filed down. Other than that, very pretty. Looks very small. One-man mech, as you know. Nothing else. 4 legs. These are the same legs we saw before. Oops, need to pull that out. Same legs we saw in the first one. Same up, down is about all you can do with it. And even that is limited. This is new. External fuel tank with, looks like a gauge on it, but there's no dial. Have to paint your own. Very boring and basic on the side. I think they showed it just mounted to the side of it because, that's a great place for it, right where everyone's going to shoot. The rest of the detail on this is incredibly crisp. Very little. There's a couple things that need to be trimmed off on there, but very little. Again, we've seen this with, or the same body, I believe. And this is new. It's the combo weapon. I'm trying to remember if that's the autocannon or the anti-tank gun. It's the anti-tank gun and the flame thrower, and it's a vehicle flamethrower, so it actually gets a longer range, but we will validate that. Just because, don't take my word for it, because I'm known to be wrong, as I usually am. Spine Light Mech. Here we go. So, combine the agility of an infantryman with the armor and firepower of a heavy built armored car. The Spine, or Spider, is almost a perfect recce vehicle for close terrain and urban environments. The open turret allows the gunner commander to maintain anti-air overwatch and maximizes its situational awareness, except for not with this one. It is 125 points regular, 125 veteran, but that's actually going to change. It is turret-mounted light anti-tank gun and coax light autocannon, which means you can only fire one or when you put the coax word in there. You can't fire them both. It's a 7+ light walker. We can replace the autocannon with a small vehicle flamethrower and remove the open top and flak special rules for 30 points. So, doing math, that means it's 155 points for regular and 175 points for veteran. Out of focus there. Its special rules are walker, open top, which is now negated on this one. It is agile. It is flak, which is negated, and it's recce dual direction steering. So this one contains only walker, agile, and recce. Everything else is lost. 30 points to barbecue infantry. Fuck yeah. Put this in a city clearing or something like that. Yeah, I'll do some barbecue with it, that's for sure. Do the attack. So, again, we have no transfers. Be nice if there were some transfers with it. 4 legs, turret, chassis, gun, fuel tank, and a base for it all. So, enjoy, guys. Have a great day, and catch you next time. Okay, I'm about to do a build real fast on the German Flammspinne Light Panzermech, but there's a few things that need attention before we go ahead and assemble it. This piece right here all needs to get cleaned up. This all needs to get cleaned up. This needs to get cleaned up. This piece here needs cleaning up. This needs cleaning up. And that's about it for the body. There's not much else that needs attention. Otherwise, it's very crisp cast. This piece stays. That's like a headlight or something. Not quite sure. So, yeah, don't cut that off when you're doing it. Then on the overhead piece, the turret, I should say, sorry. I've got this little piece here next to the flam. So I got to clean that up a little bit. There's a little bit of flash under here. Nothing bad. Honestly, it should take about 10 minutes maybe to clean it up. I'll be back then. Okay, I'm back. So, the turret, real easy. Just scraped it with a knife, came right off. Actually, I'll probably do a little more sanding on that. Not a big deal. Oops, there's a little piece of flash on the back there. It looks like I missed. This thing, there was a piece here I didn't see. I got that. I got the back off. It's a little... it's a little hairy, but I'm not super worried about it. This piece in here, this was a real pain in the dick to get out of there. It actually came down to I needed my Dremel, and I realized I lent my Dremel out, so I didn't have it. So I had to get in there with a hobby knife, and as you can see, I hit the edges a little bit, but that thing was really hard to get out without either endangering the model or your finger, so I opted to endanger the model. yeah, be careful with that one. That one can be really dangerous without power tool of some sort. Have patience. Go at it. Work at the piece very slowly. I just ended up just stabbing it a lot and making it real soft and pliable, then picking off little pieces that the stabbings got out. Again, that took longer than it should have. Wow, that looked clean under naked eye, but as I'm looking at it zoomed in on the camera, it needs a touch of sanding. This was a lot of sanding here too. There were some more pieces around the edge here that needed some. I trimmed a little bit off the front here. On that, everything else looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and commence in the build, which is what? Just glue on 4 legs and a weapon. It's going to be the fastest build I think I've ever done as far as the build part goes. I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to sand that last little bit on the turret, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I cleaned up the underside of the turret. That took all of a half a second. I just hit the file real fast. Didn't bother digging with that anymore. It fits in pretty good. It's nice and flush in the front. It sticks up just a tad in the back. It's not going to bother me. It rotates. If anything, if it gets sticky in humid weather, it gives me a spot to stick my thumbnail in or pull it up so I don't just pull on the gun and pop it off. So maybe it's better I leave it like that. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put this together. I have washed the parts, so we're good there. Although I might give it another wash after I put it together. Oops, I lost the applicator. Whoops, that's upside down. I hope if I did that on camera. So insert gun into here. Gun attached. Okay, next come the legs. Now one thing I've noticed is that for it to fit on the base in test fitting is you need to take the leg and pull it back by wedging it back, then it will fit on the base. Otherwise it's not going to fit on the base. So let's go ahead and put a little glue on here. Not much is needed. I'm just using a gel CA. Oops. That'd be an interesting chicken dance. Just put it in there. I'm pulling back on it a little bit. And it kind of actually wedges in place real fast for me to, oops, sorry. Put it in there, wedged it back. And then I'm going to do that one more leg. A little bit on there. So getting the hole, rubbing it around so the glue gets there, and then pulling back on it. And in theory, we should now fit on this base. We just barely make the base. And if we didn't make the base, I would not cry about it, honestly. I'm not even sure if I want to base it, but I want the option, and then I also know the footprint's right. I'm going to let those 3 legs dry, because all 3 of those have glue on them now. Once those are dry, I'll go ahead and then stick the last leg on, and then we'll put the Flammen tank in, or the fuel tank, and then we should be done, honestly. I'll be back. Alright, this had some time to dry, so let's go ahead and do our last little legamaboo. Oops, one of my legs is twisted, I just realized. It's, we'll call it walking. I'm just going to leave it, I don't care. Character. The glue. Probably putting way too much glue on here, but hey, why not? Let's get in the hole, wiggle, 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 pull it forward. We'll let its own weight set it in there. Yeah, there we go. All I am going to set it on level surface to make sure that... oh well. Guess what? One of the legs is not going to be touching no matter what I do. So that's cool. Looks like the one I have now accidentally created action. So the one leg that's at an angle or cocked is in the air. And I'm absolutely fine with that. If it bothers me, I'll rip it off. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it up there. It's called motion or something. And then our last little piece is the Flammspinne, which has really no place or no way to put it in, but it does actually have a place. If you look at the slots here, it actually fits right between those slats. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop a CA. Oops. Looks like my tip is dried out because I walked away from it out while I was letting the legs dry, which also resulted in everything else drying. So it just goes right in there. And I put it with the dial up. Is that correct or not? Don't know. Whoops, I lost my leg. That's what I get for doing multiple things at once and not laying shit dry and being impatient. But hey. There we go. I think I glued that to my hand, so I'm just going to have to, I'm stuck waiting here for a little while. Just rub the glue around in there again, get it all nice and juicy. And for the tank, I think I did this wrong. I think I put the glue on the tongue, for lack of a better term. I don't think the tongue touches. Well, I guess it does. Alright, the tank is there, and I'm just going to walk away from it and not touch it. I've learned better. Once you get to a point like this, just don't touch it. The glue will take care of itself. I just got to find the cap for the glue. Hello, glue cap. Anyways, I'll be back. It may or may not have fallen apart by the time I get back. Whoops. It would help if I had frame centered. And then we have the turret over here ready to go, and that is all the bits. I do have the base. I'll test fit it later. I'll be back. Okay, it's all assembled and ready to go. It's not glued to the base. I just set it on the base. As you'll notice, the 3 feet fit, but that 1 foot that I had up in the air is actually way up in the air. Don't think you can really see it well, but it is up there and just adds to it. It was a happy accident in my opinion. I like that it's off the base and in the air. Looks like it's, you know, going for a walk. Yeah, the weight's off a little bit, but maybe that's it walking, who knows. It might be a pain on the table if I leave it off the base, but for right now, I'm planning on sticking to the base, although we'll see. I could always weigh the base down by putting a rock or something on this side to help weigh it down if it starts tipping too much. Oh wait, it's on a base, it won't tip. What am I smoking? Alright, so that's it, it's done. Whole build process, 20 minutes tops, and it was 15 minutes of that filing and sanding and getting the model right. Actually, there is one more thing I'm going to do. Okay, there's one last little step to this. This is going to get the drill. Bear with me, I'm having a hard time seeing around the camera. The lip lock. Nice and straight. Clean that out. Still some crap in there, hold on. still some crap in there. I'll drill it a little more then. Oops. And my bit is now spinning. Alright. There we go. We have a nice little hole in here. And you're going to ask what for. And maybe those of you who have seen my other videos might know already. We have the fishing line is coming out. Nice sharp blade. I figure about 3 inches. No, 1.5 inches, sorry. Trying to figure out what these little markings are on the mat. Can't seem to cut it on camera. I'm going to cut it off camera. Sorry, guys. Okay, nice sharp antenna. It's got a little bit of a curve, not much. In the hole it goes. And yes, it's not the right hole for this. It's actually just a tad too large. And that looks about right. I think that should do. I'll have the glue over by my computer editing desk. Grab that. And that's because I never found the cap. I'm sure someone's going to message me and say, yeah, the cap's sitting right there on your desk, dummy. But I've got so much on my desk, I don't see it. So... that's it. Mod complete. Walker complete. A Panzermech complete. Nice and straight. Curve towards the back. Alright. And that is a radio antenna. I think that'll add a little bit of character. And because it's fishing line, it's not going to break in game. And what's worse, it happens. Cut it out, redrill it, put another one in. Yep. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Okay, so here you can see it's all primed up. That little glob on the engine compartment still looks really bad, even though I thought I fouled that up pretty good. Probably need to put some putty or something in there and go at it. Not sure. The rest of the details nice and crisp. Nice sharp details on it. The commander's cupola or hatch, or you want to call it, you can definitely see what looks like the 3D printing marks on it when you zoom in close to it. And here's an example of my little antenna. That's a little German black gray on it, and see it's holds together fairly well. It doesn't come off, doesn't chip, doesn't flake. You know, here it doesn't come off. Yeah, nice dirty little gesture. So it's going to be durable on the table, hopefully. And on to the next part. Okay, so I'm back with this little guy. It's finally done. It's ready for the table. I could keep going. You know, that's the problem with weathering. You can just, it never ends. You can go on forever and ever and ever and just not be, or it's just so much fun. You can keep on going. So this is the pattern I went for. I'm not sure what it is. It was random, honestly. I just reached into the bucket of paints and pulled out a German camouflage red, a late war red, and it's like, let's go for it. Threw it on. Rubbed most of it back off. You know, as you see, it's on the edges and corners. I did rub it back down. You know, on the bolt heads where the camouflage was, it's, you know, rubbed off of the bolt heads. Engine compartment, it's all rubbed back off. And then did a couple coats of oil weathering on it, mostly some filters and some streaking, not streaking grime, but wash. Rubbed most of it off. I then actually went back and put more back on to give it like a sooty look. I figured that since this is a flame mech, I kind of want it to be sooty. I pictured, you know, it's going to be clean, it's going to be well maintained. It's got some chips on it because, you know, it runs through the underbrush, kicks rocks up, things like that. So I try to keep most of my chips down low, even though, you know, I definitely have something up here. Maybe it was too close to something, caught on fire and exploded and shot back at it. Or maybe it just took a hit and bounced off there. Who knows? But I definitely went for the soot look, you know, like it's been in close quarters. Next to burning things, whether it's buildings, vehicles, people getting barbecued. And then I try to keep all the chipping down low, you know, as I said, kicking up rocks, things like that. And then like little small chips. I mean, didn't really want to chip up the top too much, but once you get started, chipping's just evil. You know, once you start chipping, you have so much fun, you just don't want to stop. One thing I did do, though, it might be noticeable, is that I actually went back and rubbed all the soot off of his little logo or company icon, insignia, whatever you want to call it, emblem. Drawing a blank on what it's called there. Just, you know, he takes a little pride in his unit, wants you to know who hit him. He wants you to know who's there, you know, strike some fear. You know, they're coming to get you. Did do a little bit of a glow on that eye down there. Can't really see it in this light, unfortunately, but it has a little bit of a candy apple red glow to it. And some chips down to bare metal here and there. A lot of the bolt heads are missing their paint off of them. You know, spots for legs down to bare metal. Didn't like how the hydraulics came out. I've repainted them a few times. One thing I was going to do, ended up not doing, and maybe I'll do it on the next one, is I was going to do fuel stains coming off the hydraulics, running down the legs, you know, like using the engine oil effects, you know, like leaky hydraulics, things like that. Although on a flame mech, that might not be the best thing, because it's probably something that would catch on fire, so maybe they do keep it clean or in better condition, don't know. I've definitely got a couple different spider mechs to do up, so don't want them all to be, you know, have all the fun on them. I didn't do any streaking grime or anything like that on this one, no rust at all. Like I said, this thing's probably, you know, not that old or in good condition. But yeah, I do like how it came out. I did knock the barrel off. I dropped it when I was painting, right at the very end, as I was, actually after it was matte coated, I dropped it and knocked the gun off. That little lump that was in the turret housing that I had mentioned before is driving me nuts now. You know, that lump back in there. I probably need to get a Dremel and dig that out still, get rid of it. But again, it also gives me a way to get my finger in there and pull it off, like I said, so I can't get it out if it's sticky or tacky. But yeah, that's it. All good to go. Scales up nicely with next to German infantry or heavy infantry or regular troop. Ready for the table. One thing I will mention, though, that someone had asked me before about how white I get these things. You know, like the one back there, the Dunkelgelb is quite white at the edges. This one was just as white. And as you can see, other than that bit right there that I figured would be very faded, it fades in very well. You know, it was, all the legs were very white, the top it was very white, the turret was very white, and you know, washes and weathering, and it all fades together. It definitely gets darker. Plus, also when you put the varnish on it, it seems to darken up a little more too. So I love how this thing came out. As I said, it's a great little unit. I've used it on the table once before. Actually, I've used it twice now. The first time it lasted all of about 30 seconds into turn 1 and took a shot from an M10 and blew up immediately. So didn't get to use him that first game. Second game, scurried across the board, flamed a couple units of infantry, one being a heavy infantry unit, and took it out almost immediately. And then proceeded to get owned by a U.S. Light Walker. I totally just forgot the name of it real fast. Not a Jackal, but the other one. Coyote. Went ahead and... Is it a Coyote? The Light Walker. I went ahead and owned this with its fists almost immediately. We actually had discussed a rule that it would just blow up and take out both walkers, but we didn't do that. We just thought it'd be kind of comical because the result was fire followed by death. So, anyways, maybe I'll feature this in a battle report. I am playing with this again tomorrow. It's in tomorrow's list, so we'll see how that goes. Beautiful little mech. I love how it came out, and can't wait to get some more on the table. Have a good evening or day.